If you're a Mike Bobo hater, you are going to be absolutely livid with what Kirby Smart had to say to kick off spring practice on Tuesday. I'm going to talk about that in this video. If you haven't seen or if you haven't heard, you can read all of the quotes over on Dawg Post, and you can actually watch Kirby Smart's full press conference from Georgia's first day of spring practice on this channel. So make sure you're going back and watching that, reading that. We've got a lot of great content over on Dawg Post right now. You do not want to miss it. But of course, one of the first questions that was asked of Kirby Smart during his press conference was about the criticism that some of his coaches have been getting ever since Georgia's, let's call it, forgettable season, at least on offense in 2024. And of course, a lot of you aren't going to like this, but Kirby Smart went to bat for his staff. Here's what he said, quote, "I've got the best staff in the country, and I have no doubt about that." I think that right there is going to trigger a lot of people who want to see this guy let go, this guy let go. But, it is what it is. Georgia fans are incredibly passionate, and they want perfection. They want another national championship. And when things don't look right, they want changes. But Kirby Smart said time and time again during his press conference that, retention and bringing guys back and keeping the same staff does a lot of good for the program and for the team overall. He went on to talk more about that. He said, to be honest with you, there's a lot of confidence in that and bringing coaches back. And I have a lot of confidence in it as well. I've got a lot of confidence in this organization and the foundation that we've built. He said the word confidence a lot as well. He feels good about this. And I know this sounds crazy, but Kirby Smart did not bring Mike Bobo and Stacey Searles back because they're old college buddies, right? I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's not true. He thinks that, or believes that they can win a national championship with Mike Bobo calling the plays and Stacey Searles coaching the offensive line. I firmly believe that if he thought there was another guy out there who could do the job better, both as the offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach, which are really the two guys that people are coming for the most. No one's asking for any member on the defense to be fired. No one's asking for Todd Hartley to be let go or anything like that, right? This is Mike Bobo, Stacey Searles. That's who everyone is after. And Kirby Smart brought him back because he believes in them and he believes in the system. And Kirby Smart knows more about football than I do and everyone watching this video, right? And I don't know if these quotes are going to make people turn their back on Kirby and start losing faith in him for bringing those guys back. I don't know, but retention means a lot. And he went on to talk about that too. He said there's a lot of positives about having everyone back. I think we've built our program around retention. I think we've got the most stable, not only staff in the country, but the most stable organization in all of college football. I think that's what we've hung our hat on, is we have stability. We have retention. We have a great foundation. We're built to last. We don't have to worry about year in and year out a ton of change. I think this league will chew you up and spit you out. And again, he's right. He went on to talk about other programs and teams who are constantly, letting coaches go, bringing some in. You want that cohesiveness. You want that chemistry on offense and defense. And we've seen a lot of coaches do very well at Georgia because they've been there for a long time, right? Trey Scott on defense, Glenn Schumann on, as the linebackers coach who got promoted to the defensive coordinator. Again, no one's mad at the defensive staff, even though, you could say they took a small step backwards last year. They gave up 40 plus to Alabama, lost that game. They gave up way too many points against Georgia Tech, but the defense is still going to be fine. Even without Malachi Starks, Jalen Walker, Mykel Williams, I think the numbers and the production will still be there next year, even without those superstars. But again, the criticism is on Mike Bobo, and he's not above criticism. I'm not this blanket, Mike Bobo is the best, yada, yada, yada. I just think that Mike Bobo, of all the coaches on Georgia staff and maybe across college football, Mike Bobo does not get enough credit for when things are going well, and he gets way too much criticism when things don't go their way, right? There are plenty of times when Mike Bobo makes the correct call and guys miss a block, guys drop a pass, guys put the ball on the ground. Carson Beck misses a ball, right? They do need better players, and they went out and got them. But Mike Bobo can get better, and he does need to get better. I think that he's got a lot to prove this next season. I think the same for Stacey Searles. I don't think either one should have been let go, but I do think that both they've got a real opportunity to shut the haters down. If these new offensive linemen come in and do very well, there's a lot of talented, hungry offensive linemen that I know I'm eager to see. There are going to be new starters, and there's a lot of guys that he recruited, some out-of-state guys with a lot of size, a lot of talent, and I'm eager to see how they've developed over these last 2 years. Guys from the 24, the 23 recruiting class, and I'm looking to see, if anything, they can get stuff from the 25 class, the new incoming group. But as far as Mike Bobo goes, you got a new quarterback, right? You're going to have a new offensive line. He still wants to run the football. And again, I think the injuries that they had on the offensive line throughout the season and in the running back room, that really hurt them. And that has nothing to do with Mike Bobo. But if you've got specific scenarios and plays of they ran this play during this point of the game in this scenario, and it didn't work when they should have done this, should have done that, let me know. Because a lot of people are anti-Mike Bobo, but they have a hard time coming up with the exact precise examples. And again, if that's you, I mean, you have your own opinion, right? I mean, that's what being a fan is all about, especially passionate Georgia fans who have seen 2 straight national championships come from Todd Monken. And I'm not saying Mike Bobo is as good as Todd Monken. And I'm not saying Stacey Searles is as good as Sam Pittman. I'm not saying that at all. I'm thinking that they have an opportunity this year to really put that narrative to bed. And I still believe in Mike Bobo. I think he can get the job done. He's got to get more help from his players, but he's going to do a better job too. I think both of those things can be correct. But listen, Mike Bobo is Kirby's guy. Kirby is all in on these guys. I think James Coley, wide receivers coach, just signed an outstanding recruiting class. I think he's done a good job there. I expect a lot from his running back room. I think Josh Crawford, we'll see what he can do if he can sign some of these running backs, because the running back position, that's all about accumulating talent. It's hard to really develop the running backs. Either you got it or you don't. You've got the vision or you don't. You're able to make defenders miss or you can't, right? You can either run or you can't. So I think he's got a big opportunity in front of him to land a couple elite running backs. Todd Hartley isn't going anywhere. He's the best tight ends coach in college football. And then on the defensive side, like I kind of briefly talked about, Trey Scott is a pillar of this program. He's been around since early 2017, and that's a big reason why Georgia's defensive line has been elite year after year after year. Just like Glenn Schumann, Trey Scott identifies his prospects on the recruiting trail, lands them, signs them, develops them, and then sends them off their merry way to make millions of dollars in the NFL. And maybe they leave with an Outlander Bednarik Award like Jordan Davis did, or a #1 pick like Trayvon Walker. So, the defensive staff, if you're a Georgia fan, you don't want to see Trey Scott leave ever. You don't want to see Glenn Schumann leave ever. Travaris Robinson has been around forever. I'm eager to see what he can do with some of these new defensive backs that are going to be playing. Can Dalen Everett take a step forward? I think he took a small step forward last year, played really well in some big games, especially against Texas. But can Daniel Harris, who I think is a completely average cornerback right now. I don't think I've said this in this video. I may have mentioned this in the last one that got cut off. I had to start again. I don't know if I talked about the secondary yet in here. Sometimes my notes and my brain gets tangled up. But Daniel Harris needs to take a step forward, because Ellis Robinson, DeMello Jones, Chris Peel, those guys are right behind him, knocking on the door, saying, hey, dude, if you don't get better, you're going to be riding the bench soon, because there's a lot of talented, hungry cornerbacks ready to step up. Can KJ Bolden turn into one of the best safeties in college football? Can Janelle Aguero be just a consistent contributor in year 3? Right? How are they going to replace Malachi Starks and Dan Jackson? I think KJ Bolden and Janelle Aguero are 2. I think Ja'Cory Thomas is a guy who's got some promise, who's been around a while. So at the end of the day, Kirby Smart says, he's got the best staff, not just defensive staff. I almost said that. He's got the best complete staff in the country, and he's got no doubt about it. So if you trust Kirby Smart, you got to trust the staff, right? Kirby Smart, again, he knows what he's doing. He knows they can win big with Mike Bobo, and I think his comments to start spring practice probably irked a lot of Georgia fans who want to see some change. And again, that's your prerogative. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. This is America, baby. This is college football. This is America. You have the right to have your opinion. I don't fully agree with all the anti-Bobo stuff, but he can get better. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. The offense needs to improve. The offensive line needs to improve. The quarterback play needs to go well, right? And they've got to establish a running game. Not all of that is on Mike Bobo. That's all I'm saying. I just think the criticism it sometimes can be a little ridiculous, but it's fair to say that he can do a better job, right? And he knows it. Kirby Smart knows it. They all have to do a better job. That was an ugly season, especially on offense. So, yeah, wrapping this up, that's what Kirby Smart had to say. You can read all of this and more over on Dawg Post. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. I'll see you on the website.